So in today's video, we are going to talk about LinkedIn outreach and how to do it the right way. I'll be sharing with you strategies, tips, and everything that you need to properly acquire clients on LinkedIn. The right way is actually not that complex, the one that has been preached to you on different social media channels, and you are being told that you have to go a bit deeper and understand different demographics and all of these things. The first and foremost thing that you will have to understand is the power of LinkedIn, which is really a powerful platform because it has all the people that can become a source of wealth for you. So if you use the right strategy and reach out to the right people, then the chances of growing your business increases exponentially. And how to do that? Well, I'll be sharing my screen in a while, and I'll be going ahead with the whole process that we use in our client flow. And I'll also share with you all the strategies that we use with the prospecting messages, the whole workflow, and how we achieve that goal. So you should be asking yourself, who am I? Well, actually, I run Client Flow, a 7-figure client acquisition company in which we help businesses, coaches, consultants, and other service providers scale to 6 and multiple 7-figure. I also run Systemic.io, in which we build AI systems for service-based businesses. So the key point here is why I prefer LinkedIn over other platforms. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, they are all for a specific reason, and LinkedIn is only for businesses. But if you understand, the whole game is actually personalization. So if you want to scale faster, then you have to do personalization at mass scale. And we misunderstood this concept that if, for example, you want to scale faster and you want to get more client, then you will have to do a lot of outreaches and send bulk emails, which actually destroy your reputation, and you can't get the client that you desire. So mass personalization is the strategy which you have to use effectively to actually get clients and convert it seamlessly. And by mass personalization, I mean that if you use LinkedIn the right way and if you build your profile, because before outreaching, and you have to have a credibility and the trust that if, for example, someone is coming to your profile, they should know that you have the right things that they need. If you're claiming something, then you have to bake it up by a strong profile, and that is really essential. And so first step is actually to build up your portfolio, to build up your skills and assets. And by that, I mean that anything that you have in your profile, maybe that's asset, that's like courses that you did, or any accomplishment that you did, you add everything to the LinkedIn. So that makes you actually more valuable. Money is actually the exchange of value. So anyone who's looking into your profile, they understand, they get the idea that if you would be able to deliver the services or not. The other key benefit of LinkedIn is actually it gives you the opportunity to reach out to the people who are on the top, right? So they have a lot of budget, and the space of thinking for them is really vast. So it doesn't matter for them if they give you $5,000 or $10,000 for testing something out. So you have that opportunity, and the people who are making a lot of money, that's actually the game to play. You have to reach to those people who are actually doing business. And why most people are broke in our own service-based business, because they're reaching out to broke people. And why would they give you money if they're not earning it themselves? You have to reach out for the big fish, and for that you have to build that offer. So the second thing which is really important is building the offer which actually attracts, and you have to test the offer on different people and find out exactly if it's effective or not. And the best formula for offers actually, if it is solving a right problem, if it can solve this problem for particular people, then it can also do it on mass scale. And that's the way that when you realize if your problem is based on a strong foundation, then you can reach out to different people, you can test it out on different people, and then you can then reach out to LinkedIn. If you enhance the positive interaction at a mass scale and you do it the right way, then you will have a brand on LinkedIn which will become a main source of client acquisition for you. So before I go ahead and share the whole prospecting strategies on screen, I would request you to kindly subscribe to this channel because it gives me motivation and boosts my confidence to create such type of content for you in the future. Let's get started. All right, so the first and foremost thing that you have to understand is actually this band theory, this band framework. And what is actually band theory? And what's actually in the LinkedIn outreach or any outreach, you have to understand the client perspective, right? Like, what are the people that you're outreaching to, right? And what is their need and desires and all these things, like do the competitive research and the market analysis research. So if your offer and your actual ICP, the ideal client avatar, or the ideal client profile is actually optimized on your end, like exactly who are the people that you're targeting to, then you have to keep in mind this theory, like which we call the band. The budget actually refers to how much the lead is actually willing to pay and spend with you, right, on a product or service. And by this I mean that you don't have to ask the client that how much will you able to pay. You either use the engineering type of thing in the conversation. For example, you have to ask like indirect questions, and how you do that, there's like a different specific question that you can ask, and you can make the person answer you in a clever way. But that's also one way, but it becomes sometimes really difficult to find out exactly how the budget of the client is. So what we do is actually we use prospecting intelligence, and by that I mean that we collect as much data of the client as possible. In the LinkedIn, you have the opportunity to reach out to different people and then see their profile and see exactly the company size and what are they doing, what's the revenue. When you do all these analysis, you find out exactly where they stand, and that's the position where you actually get the idea that if they will have the budget to support your offer or to give you the money or not. If, for example, they are not meeting this criteria, they don't have the budget, so why waste the time on this lead, right? So the first misconception you have to remove from your head is that not everyone is your client. You have to reach to the specific segment, which we call the 3% in our contrarian approach. And by 3%, we mean that in the particular market, there are only 3% people ready to buy your service. So you have only to reach out to those particular 3%, and the rest, they will just either don't reply, or they will ignore you, or they will ghost you, right? But you don't have to take that on heart. You have to just go out there and do the actual thing. So the first criteria is actually the budget, and then comes the authority. Authority identifies the key decision maker for a sale, right? And what it do is, for example, you're reaching out to a company and they have different people. One is like sales manager, other is a founder, or the CEO, and you have to reach out to the person who is actually making the decision. For example, there are different industries in which the founders or the CEO doesn't make the decision, right? So the decision the person is making, actually maybe the product hit or maybe the services hit. So you have to reach out to that person, and while reaching out to the primary decision maker, what you're doing is that you are saving a lot of time. And the next thing is actually the needs, right? So find out if lead truly needs your product or services, right? And you have to do it before reach out. And all these things, the band theory that we are using, we have to do these things before reaching out. So this qualification factor of the lead is really, really important. And when you know that they need your services and they are really facing issues and they have the budget and they have the authority, then when after this you reach out to the person and you just give your offer, they will pick it up because they need it, right? And the fourth thing is actually the timeline. So answer how much time a lead needs to make a purchase, right? So for example, you have conversation and you find out that the person is not ready yet, right? Or if this person is not a decision maker, or he or she will take a lot of time to make the decision, then you don't have to waste time on this, right? Maybe you just put it in the CRM and reach out some other time. But this is really, really essential, and this approach is actually the key, right? So if you know that the person has the budget, he has the authority, and he has the need and timeline, and you reach out to this person, the probability of conversion increases by 80%, and we have experienced it for our own clients also, right? And on LinkedIn, we might have a lot of followers and connection, but the problem and the mistake that most of the people do is that build up connections with the wrong people, right? The people, they're not their client, not their possible prospects. They build connection with them, which is actually the key to declining profile. You have to have your own possible prospects in your connection, right? So if, for example, you're increasing your network and you have the people who actually needs your service, the things that you're providing, then that's the value. They're seeing you daily in their feed, right? You're constantly upgrading the content there. So you are in the attention, and the attention span is really essential, and this is the attention economy. So you have to focus on keeping yourself in the loop. And if you have like a normal account, what it do is that it has a lot of restrictions, right? So what you do is that you search, and then you come to people, and in the people section you have like a lot of people, and these are all the leads that you can filter through on different metrics, right? So in just a normal LinkedIn account, for example, you don't have any sales navigator and you're using simple LinkedIn account, that's a good start, right? You can start from there. But obviously then what will happen is that you won't have like a lot of data, right? If this is, for example, a lead which is highly qualified, but LinkedIn is not showing his data, right? So this might be a good prospect, but you are missing it, right? Because you are on the free plan. And again, there are a lot of possibilities and opportunities that you get once you go and join Sales Navigator. And highly recommend joining Sales Navigator, because if you want to do the right thing the right way, then Sales Navigator is the right tool that you can use and get maximum out of LinkedIn. And what is Sales Navigator? It's actually, it gives you, like, this is Sales Navigator, right? And it gives you a whole world of opportunities. You don't have to spin on ads. You don't have to go after chasing people who are not listening to you. So for example, I search here accountants, right? And what happens is that it gives me a lot of data, right? It gives me around, if here I see 13 million plus people who are accountants, right? Now what I do is that I narrow down the whole approach, right? I can save the search, and the next thing I can do is actually I narrow down my approach. And then how I narrow down is actually I select a company. For example, if I want to specify a company, which obviously we don't use it most, but what we do is that we specify based on the role, right? So role is actually the key So role is actually the area where you have to specify exactly in which industry the person is, or what is the person exactly doing in that particular industry, right? So you include accounting, you including finance, you including business development, right? You include all these things. So what I do is narrow down the audiences that you have, right? And then after that, linearity level, all these things works, but we don't use it, right? And in our case, it doesn't work that much. The important thing is the geography, right? So in which region you want to get the client from. For example, we want to select the USA, right? And so it gradually narrow down the whole leads based on the location, right? And then the industry it comes in. So LinkedIn, as I told, Sales Navigator is really, really effective and comprehensive, and it gives you everything that you need. So by industry, it means that, so in accountant's case, obviously the industry will be finance, and you can select any industry, right? But yeah, this is something that you have to keep in account. And then you have like different connection level, first degree, second degree. Ideally, what I prefer is that you reach out to the first and the second initially, right? So for example, if your account is new or you have limited followers, what you do is that you start from first degree connection, you send the message, and what it do is that it actually triggers the second degree connection to be your first one, right? And so LinkedIn, actually you're slowly growing, right? So it's like natural. For example, if you have like neighbor, you know them better compared to your like third or fourth neighbor, right? So you start from the first one, and then the first degree connection actually works the best because the high conversion, and they're obviously connecting with you, they are seeing your posts, they're obviously do a lot of interaction with your profile. So you start from the first one, then you gradually go ahead and go with second and third degree connections. And obviously there are a lot of other searches that you can do, but the main thing is that and from 3 million plus we got to 1 million plus, and obviously we can narrow down the whole message, the whole plan, the whole idea that I want to give to you is that you can do a lot of things with it. For example, so the other important thing is that, for example, in the Sales Navigator, what you do is that you look at this person in the data, right? So in the first glance, it gives you the company, it gives you the location, it gives you the whole location, it gives you the years of experience, and a particular company has gives you the about what the person is doing. So from this whole one sentence, you can actually take the whole idea what the person is doing, and it's saving a lot of time. And then also give you the experience level and the groups that the person is in, right? And from here, what you can do is that you can either connect with the person, right? Or you can view the profile, right? And you can also send a direct message, and you can either just click on this here, and it will just create this side window where you can actually see the whole profile without showing the view profile feature on the normal LinkedIn, right? So this is actually the whole data the person has, right? And then based on this data, what you do normally, the outreach, the organic outreach that you will have to do is that you look at it, you just click on the message, right? And then you send message based on the data, right? So on one window you will have the profile. I highly recommend for effective outreaches that you provide value upfront. And by this I mean, for example, if you have an ebook, you have a system, or you have maybe you have a calendar, maybe you buy something which is of value that you want to give your client, which can actually solve a particular small problem for a client, you give it upfront. You give it in the first message. You tell the client that I have this thing for you. For example, in accountant case, you can tell the client that obviously they're struggling to get clients, and you can say that I have this cheat sheet, or I have this strategy that I have developed while working with other people, while scaling other businesses and accountants, and I can give it to you for free. Just send me a message. You can write it down here, and the person, because it's of value, right, the person will definitely respond to you. And if they reply, it means that they're 50% closed, right? So the reply rate is the main KPI that you will have in your approach. If you can't generate a response, if you can't generate attention, then you're not eligible to do business, right? That's the one and only goal that you will have, to generate responses, and only then you can do the conversation and reach out to different people, right? So this is actually the main science behind LinkedIn outreach, and I can show you exactly like what the message look like. I can also write different scripts, but it will actually waste a lot of time. So what I will do is I will link the scripts in the description. You can definitely download it from there. So the whole science of this LinkedIn strategy is actually you have to do personalization and mass scale. You have to do it consistently. These are the main factors. And you have to do research, right? If you don't do research and you reach out to the person who you don't know, then what we'll do is that you will lose the person. And so you apply the band strategy, you reach out to the person, you buy the Sales Navigator, you go ahead and you do the actual thing, and don't listen to different voices and noises. They are distracting you. The main thing is do the numbers, right? If you do it consistently, you do it like 100 outreaches a day, after a month you will have a lot of clients. I'm really excited for your success. If you have any question, you can definitely do a comment. I will reply to you. I will give you maximum information that I have. So subscribe to this channel. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button and like this video because it gives me confidence and boost. Thank you.